The Dallas Cowboys just lost 48-32 to the Green Bay Packers on Wild Card Weekend, and I think it is very obvious where we have to go from here because three straight seasons of 12-5, and the Dallas Cowboys have one playoff win to show for it. For all that regular season success, you got one playoff win to show for it, and the latest blunder in the playoffs comes at the hands of the youngsters of the Green Bay Packers. All of their contributing players on offense outside of Aaron Jones. Let's put it this way. All the pass catchers and the quarterback are first or second year starters for the Packers. Everybody knows this. Everybody expected going into this game that, yeah, the young kids had some flash, some sizzle, but the Cowboys were going to handle business. They're playing at home where they haven't lost all season long, and they haven't even played close games at home all season long. They've been drubbing people left, right, and center. Granted, all the teams that they have played have been under 500, and they've gotten a couple dates against the Giants and the Redskins, two horrific teams this past season. So we should have known, right? Yes. We should have known because this is what the Cowboys do. They have great regular seasons, beat up on bad teams. For the most part, are hit or miss against actual playoff caliber teams. But then when it comes to the playoffs and the games that really matter, they find ways to fall on their face. And you got to make a change. Now, what Jerry Jones has to decide moving forward is, what does that change look like? And to me, it's pretty obvious. You have to move on from Mike McCarthy. I know winning regular season games looks nice. 3 straight years at 12-5 is really nice. A lot of teams would kill for that. I know, the Carolina Panthers, they would kill for 3 straight seasons of 12-5 and one playoff win. That would be a massive improvement for that organization. But for the Cowboys, the expectation is Super Bowls, even though they haven't won one in what feels like my entire lifetime. You've got the quarterback. You've got the stud receiver. A lot of people will say that Dak Prescott is not the guy moving forward, but he did just almost win himself an MVP in the regular season. Granted, fell flat on his face in the playoff matchup. The numbers look good, but he got a lot of them in garbage time. But it's not just that Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions, one of them going back for a pick 6 against the Packers. The defense allowed 41 points. They could not stop a single thing that the Packers wanted to do on offense. Not a thing. I can't remember a Packers punt, to be totally honest with you. I watched the whole game. They might have punted. If they did, it flew under the radar, and I just don't remember. The Packers did whatever they wanted to. Their play-action passing game downfield was absolutely lethal. Hot knife through butter. Dallas's pass rush didn't affect them, and Aaron Jones had a field day running the ball all over Dallas's defense. A defense, mind you, that was very, very good in the regular season against all those subpar teams. You've got to look at the top. Jerry Jones has to look at the body of work from Mike McCarthy and say, we cannot keep winning meaningless games because, let's face it, the regular season, it's nice, but the regular season is not playoff games. The playoff games are where legends are made. And unfortunately for the Cowboys, the legend that they have made in the playoffs has been one of failure. And the story continues writing itself until something changes. You think, and it's not just yesterday or this past weekend where the Cowboys have a great season, fall flat on their face. No, look at a year ago. They're playing the 49ers after another 12-5 season when folks are thinking, hey, maybe this team could win a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy badly mismanages the clock on the final drive of the game. They need a touchdown to win, but badly mismanages the clock. Dak scrambles, goes down, clock runs out, game over. On the 20-yard line. I mean, you have an opportunity to go win a game, and the coach screws you when it matters most. And all the talk shows the day after saying, okay, McCarthy, good. They're killing him. Absolutely killing him, because you cannot, in a moment that major, screw up the clock that royally. Now, there was not any game to mismanage the clock this past weekend against the Packers. They got beat so badly, the clock was never an issue. They were down at one point, 48-16. The final score does not even indicate how close of a game this game was. The Packers were resting their starters halfway through the fourth quarter in this matchup. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know. They put the starters back in because Dallas started scoring some points in garbage time, and still they lost by 16 points. It didn't matter. They were getting absolutely destroyed. And Jerry Jones now has to look in the mirror, has to look up and down this roster, has to look at the coaching staff and say, all right, what are we going to do with what we've got in the building? And I think you do have some options at coach that would be an improvement over Mike McCarthy. If Bill Belichick is your coach, do you think that defense allows 41 points? Bill Belichick has some issues, and drafting, developing receivers, developing offensive weapons is one of them. But Dallas doesn't have a deficiency at offensive weapons. They've had a great offense all season long. They did look out of sorts for the most part on Sunday, but they have the pieces. But for a fact, the defense, if Bill Belichick's the coach, is going to keep them at least in the game. They're going to find ways to get stops when they have to get stops. If Mike Vrabel's the coach, same sort of thing. Mike Vrabel at least has proven that he can get the most out of the roster that he's been given, even when the Tennessee Titans had perhaps the worst roster in the NFL. Look at Jim Harbaugh as well. I think it was a 71% winning percentage when he was the coach for the 49ers. Goes to Michigan, does the exact same thing, wins a national championship. I think you can argue without anybody really disagreeing with you that Jim Harbaugh would be a better coach than Mike McCarthy, would get the culture moving in the right direction. So Jerry Jones, you got to look in the mirror and you got to say, Mike McCarthy, he's not the guy moving forward. He needs to be let go today. You have to get in on the Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh sweepstakes, because this is still a great job. It's a great roster. You just have to win the games that matter the most, and the Cowboys have been horrendous at falling short in the moments when they need to come up big. On the other side of this, Jordan Love goes for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just destroyed the Cowboys defense that had been so good this season. And to put in context his season, which is just pure comedic gold, because it looks like the Packers have found their third straight stud franchise quarterback. The discourse around Jordan Love went from, oh, wow, we might have gotten a guy, to when are we going to win a Super Bowl with him? In just a matter of a few hours. To put it in perspective, Bears fans, hide your eyes. The Chicago Bears have had 12 individual passing seasons over 3,000 yards in team history. There were 19 quarterbacks to do that this year. Jordan Love, with 4,100 yards passing this season, is more than all Bears quarterbacks ever. No Bears quarterback has yet to throw for 4,000 yards. Jordan Love did it in his first full year starting for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, the story writes itself. He's got all these young kids that he's throwing the ball to. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton. You got the 2 tight ends, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. What can the Packers not do right now? It looks like the way they've built this team, the way they've built these weapons, they're all cheap, they're all young. They're going to go as far as Jordan Love is going to take them. And it'll be really interesting to see where he goes from here, because not only has he been really good down the stretch of the season, I think the final 10 games of the regular season, he had a touchdown interception ratio of 21-3, fantastic, and then goes out in the big stage under the bright lights in Jerry World and goes for 270 and 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love has a massively bright future, and I think Packers fans should be so excited that you found your guy, that you have this nucleus, this roster that is so young and cheap. You've got a Super Bowl window that has opened up before our very eyes that we did not expect. We didn't know what Jordan Love was. I think we had started 2 games and we had no clue what you had at quarterback. Turns out you've got that guy. And of course, in just the poetic script writing of it all, the Cowboys are the team that the Packers beat again in absolutely heartbreaking fashion. The Packers win 48-32. Jordan Love is the franchise quarterback now moving forward for the Green Bay Packers. And the Dallas Cowboys are looking once again at themselves in the mirror after a playoff loss, trying to figure out where it all went wrong.